what I love throughout all of these movies is just the acts of heroism and bravery that are just peppered all throughout this. And I know it's the nature of the story, like it's fantasy and it's all about heroic people doing these great things, but there's so many, and it's not always great deeds by celebrated heroes. It could just be the soldiers that lay down their lives to stop like the trolls from breaking through that gate in Minas Tirith. All of those people have lives and families and all the rest of it, but they lay down their lives because it's their fucking job, and they took that oath to do that, and defend their city. And they're not going to get celebrated for it, but it's all throughout this. And whether it's Aragorn and Theoden leading that charge out of Helm's Deep, knowing that it's like their last suicidal stand, but doing it anyway because that's what heroes do. Or Sam giving up the last of his supplies for Frodo to help him keep going a little bit longer. Just all these little things. I love it. Yeah, it's it feels like almost you're not allowed moments like that now. I don't know. There would have to be some kind of like deeper motivation behind it, or there would have to be some way of subverting it somehow. You couldn't have these big, larger than life heroic characters and moments anymore.
I don't know if they know how to write them anymore.
That's a great point. I just don't think they do. I think that is such a lost thing in Hollywood right now. And if they do write a heroic scene, they try so hard to make it not a dude. Like and then it becomes, which it doesn't have to be a white dude, but they try to make it like not a dude all the time. All the time. I was asked today by somebody like to describe the MCU, which I fully plan to do in the very near future. To go down the rabbit hole on that one to explain what I mean by that. I mean, if you watch my videos, you know, but not everybody does. I know it's heartbreaking to hear that, but it's just a fact. And it's poisoned Hollywood. It's not just Marvel, it's everything else. That's why when, we were talking about rules for writing now, the unwritten rules that are actually literally written down for them now. So Amazon gets the Rings of Power, and the one thing they cannot do is adapt Tolkien. So they paid all this money and they can't adapt it properly. And I know a lot of you out there might ask, sure they can. They can do whatever they want. No, they feel like they cannot. They feel like it's too old fashioned. We're past that now. It would perpetuate stereotypes. So you spent $250 million just getting the rights to something from a guy you think is basically a sexist, a misogynist, and a racist. But yes, that's what we're dealing with here. It's so insane when we're just talking about like one story, which, I mean, most people would probably be pretty happy to hear and see and watch and be excited about. Remember when we used to be excited about things? Like, hey, they're going to adapt Moon Knight. Whew, awesome. Freaking cool. We're getting another Batman movie. Awesome. Brilliant. Now it's like, just not adapt it. Like, let's leave everything alone now. That's where we're at now. It's so sad. And it's 20 years ago. Isn't that long for old men? All right. So, it just seems like yesterday where things were fine and we can watch this and just have a good time and not have to worry about like what it's perpetuating or whatever. It's perpetuating a good story. That's what it's doing.
Yeah. And great cinema as well.
Look how we all felt, I guess, when we watched this and came away from this film. We all felt uplifted and we felt inspired and we felt fucking good and happy to be alive, and just really enamored with, hey, you can tell great stories. Movies can be awesome. How many times do we get that now with the films that are made? Just it doesn't do that. It demoralizes you.
Well, as you said at the beginning of this, like once upon a time we thought, what a neat movie. Let's get some more. Nowadays, how often do we say how lucky we were to get these? How insanely lucky we were to have had this happen?
Mm-hmm. Was it the Rageaholic who said when he was describing the Star Wars sequel trilogy, like it was conceived out of spite.
It
Yeah.
feels like it.
So,
I mean, it certainly feels like it.
And I think you could
really
apply that to a lot of modern movies, particularly where they're adapting the works of older writers and authors and trying to update them. It's done through spite and hatred of the fact that these people, these men, were successful and good at what they did.
So,
All this praise.
yeah, that big historic change to the Doctor. What was it met with? Oh, fanboy! I can't wait to see the fanboy tears. That was the first thing out of everybody's freaking
Yeah.
pipe. It
Hatred.
wasn't like love for the franchise or
No.
genuinely wanting to see this. And yeah, there was probably some people out there, but most of it was just fanboy tears. That's all we want to see.
Did you see?
From
Oh,
you.